Welcome back to Cosmoholics Anonymous. I am your favorite mother of three, Bougie Vintage, and today's video is a story time. Yay! I guess no matter where you live, no matter where you move to, you will never escape having a crazy neighbor because I obviously don't live where I used to live, and somehow we still manage to have a neighbor issue. This one is obviously not as crazy as Decibel Dan because when I lived in the townhouse or the condo, I was the above neighbor and Decibel Dan was the lower neighbor. And so there was a lot of issues, but now obviously I don't live in that kind of place. I live in a single dwelling. My house is not attached to anybody's. My house is, there's a space in between the houses. So this is not really an issue of we are noisy or they are noisy. No. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys a little background about the neighbor, and then I'm going to tell you what happened on this day. Girl. So basically, when we first moved here, everybody in the neighborhood was kind of like, you know, walking by the house and stuff and seeing who's moving in and blah, blah, blah. So the neighbor that lives adjacent to me, they are just a couple, like a middle-aged couple with two children that are elementary aged. When we first moved here, they did not have any pets, or at least none that came outside. So we noticed that they just got a puppy, and it's a cute little, well, at the time it was a cute little, it kind of looked like Mushu, so it kind of looked like a poodle. It was very curly hair type of dog, and it was black, and we'd always see them kind of just walking the dog. However, they weren't just walking the dog. A couple times I looked out my window and I would see them on my lawn, and like I have a huge side lawn, front lawn, and backyard, but the fences hadn't gone up yet. So I would see them on my grass or whatever, and I saw them on the grass about twice. My mom said she had saw them on the grass as well, but we never saw them doing anything. So I'm thinking they're just standing there, which obviously that's not the case when they have a dog with them. So we see them standing on the grass a couple times, and then me and my mom kind of parlay about it, and we're like, it's odd, like is their dog using the grass as a place to go potty or what? Like, and that's not cool, obviously, because we have kids. I don't care if you're picking up the poop or not. You have your own grass in front of your own house. Like, doesn't make sense for them to be using our lawn, but we never actually physically saw the dog using the grass. We just saw the dog and the parents and the children on the grass while they were going on their walk. So we never made a big stink about it. But then my mother-in-law had come to visit, I think right after I had Nola, and she came in the house the very minute that she got here. She came in the house and she said, do you know that your neighbor is using your lawn as her dog's place to go to the bathroom? And I'm like, you know, we thought that they might be, but we didn't catch them. And she's like, no. As I'm getting out of the car, I saw her dog go onto her grass, and she picked the dog up, physically picked the dog up and brought it over to my grass to use the... I said, you lying. I said, there's no way she did that. She's like, no. She literally picked up the dog and brought it over to my lawn for the dog to use the bathroom. Why can't the dog use your grass? Like, what? Are you dumb? Like, literally, I could not believe my ears. So I'm like, okay, we have to say something, you know? So the next morning, my mom waits outside for them because my mom usually would like go on the porch at like 6 o'clock in the morning and have her tea and stuff and like devotion. So she went out that morning and she literally waited until they came out to walk their dog. And then when she saw them, she approached them and said, hey, excuse me, would you guys mind not using our lawn as your dog's potty? Okay. Please don't do it again. Okay. And so that was basically the beginning. I think prior to us moving here, the neighbors were, I guess, in communication about a fence, and we had no idea about that, but I guess the people that lived here before did not want to do the fence, and then we weren't approached for the fence. We weren't asked, right? So we didn't know. We were kind of wondering, like, are they doing that because the people didn't agree to the fence and they had to pay more for the fence? Because, I don't know. Anyway, it didn't make sense, but I was just trying to, like, why would they be using our grass for their dog's potty. Anyway, once my mom addressed the situation, anytime we saw them after that, they wouldn't even look and say like hello or anything like that. They would just walk past with their dog, like this is freaking 102 Dalmatians, okay? Walk past with their dog and go, and like if we said, gestured to say hello, then they would acknowledge us. But other than that, they stopped acknowledging us, and we're like, really? You guys are mad that you can't use our grass to let your dog put its feces on it? Like, our kids run through the grass. You know, you're killing our grass with your dog pee. I don't understand what the problem is. Anyway, that kind of went brushed under the rug. So moving along to the date that the phone went missing. So it was a holiday. I think it might have been July 1st. I think it was Canada Day, but we totally forget what day of the week it is and when it's a holiday and when it's not a holiday because of the pandemic, and we're always home, and like the days just run into each other and we have no idea what day it is 99% of the time. Every day just feels like a really long day and you're doing the same stuff over and over again, so it's kind of hard to keep up with the days of the week, okay, especially when you're somebody like me who works from home. So my mother had gone out that morning and my vehicle wasn't available, but since my sister lives in Ottawa now, she was able to take my sister's car. So she borrowed my sister's car for the day, but she forgot. She's used to driving my truck. So she takes the car out to go do what she needs to do. I had sent her to, I think, Costco or something like that as well. But when she pulled up, the parking lot was empty and she's like, what the hell's going on? Why is the parking lot empty? And then as she approached the door, she realized, hello, it's a holiday, it's not open. So whatever, she goes to do whatever else she needs to do. The other place she needs to go was the pharmacy. So she goes to the pharmacy. She goes to the pharmacy. When she comes out of the pharmacy, she opens the door to a vehicle that was similar to mine. My sister drives a car, not a truck. So she opens a truck door and she puts her foot inside and she's looking around like something's not right here, but she can't quite put her finger on it. So she's looking around in the car. She's cussing Shooter in her head because she's like, like, how's the car dirty? So like, why is it so dirty in here? All this stuff. She's like, oh my gosh, like, what is going on in this car? So she puts her foot in like she's gonna like step into the car to drive, but she's just looking around and like, something's weird. So she steps out of the car, closes the door. I guess she had forgotten her medicine on the seat of the car. So she opens the car door back up and then she picks up her medicine, and it dawns on her that she did not take my truck. She's getting into some random vehicle and only God knows if the person was watching her from the window, ready, like the store window, ready to call the police on her. Like, why is that lady going in my car? But because the car was unlocked, I guess like when you walk up to my car, you don't have to push the button to open it. If you have the key in your bag, it'll automatically unlock for you. So I guess she figured that that's what happened when she open the car door, but it was not my car. So it was a weird day from the very jump. Anyway, she realizes this is not Beau's car. What the hell is wrong with me? So she goes and remembers that she drove my sister's car. So she gets she goes to find my sister's car. She gets in my sister's car. She comes home. She tells me this story. I'm like dying because I'm like, Mom, are you serious? She's getting in some dirty old truck that was just not mine. So she tells me the story and then she's like, you know, I need to go make a phone call. But she gets distracted. She doesn't make the phone call. Then we just kind of go about the day. Like the kids are running around. We're doing stuff with the kids. And again, my mom says, I need to go and make a phone call. So she goes, I guess, upstairs to make the phone call. But again, she gets distracted. And that happens a lot around here. Like literally all of us. We're about to go do something, but then something happens with the kids or something happens and it slips our mind and we don't end up doing what we need to do. So my mom had been in the front of the house. She had been in the back of the house. She had been in the basement. She had been in the living room. Like she was everywhere helping me with the kids that day. I think 3 or 4 times I heard her say, let me go make that phone call. Push comes to shove. It's 7 o'clock at night, I think, around that time, but it's still daylight outside because it's summer. My mom decides she's finally going to make the phone call. So she's like, I need to find my phone. So I'm like, okay, like don't go around. You were everywhere today, so don't go around looking for it. But she says that she thinks that she left it on the porch. So I'm like, okay, fine. But when she went to go look for it on the porch, it wasn't there. And so now she's freaking out, and I'm like, no, Mom, it's probably just anywhere. Like, let me just grab the iPad and use Find My iPhone or Find My Phone app. And that's usually how we find phones around this house. We just grab the iPads and just look it up, right? So we ping her phone, and we start going into all the rooms of the house to listen for it. We don't hear it anywhere. And we're like, what the heck? Where's the phone? So on the actual map, it's not saying that it's in our house anymore. It's saying that it's in the neighbor's house. And I'm like, oh, but run that by me again. The phone is where? And so I'm like, there's no way the phone is in the neighbor's house, but I'm literally pushing play sound so that the sound will come and we can find the phone, but we can't hear it in any of the rooms in the house. The first room I was in was her own room, and I didn't hear it in there, and so I left that room. I come downstairs. Oh, and that's the other thing. So when I'm pressing the play sound button on the Find My iPhone app, it starts, but then I don't know where it stops. Usually when you push the play sound, it won't stop until you find the phone. Also, the play sound ascends, so it'll start quiet, but then it'll get louder. Anyway, I'm pushing the button, and every time I push it, it stops by itself. So at this point, I'm like, wow, somebody took the phone and they're stopping it. And I'm like, why wouldn't they turn it off? Like, why would they keep it on, and why do they keep hitting the stop button? So when I see that it says that it's at the neighbor's house, I'm like, okay, let me just go over there. Like, maybe it fell on the driveway and they picked it up and, you know, brought it inside their house. Like, I was gonna give them the benefit of the doubt, child. I said, we're not gonna go over there accusing these people of theft now. Okay, that's not what we're gonna do. But, you know, let me take the iPad over there and show them, hey, it says that the phone is here, you know, can we have our phone back? So the devil is a liar, child. So I go over to the neighbor's house. They have a Ring doorbell, so I'm like all up on their camera, like, okay. So I ring the doorbell. They approach the door, and they're like kind of looking at me like, why the hell are you here? And so I explained to them with the iPad, hey, we can't find my mother's cell phone. I've pressed the play sound button, and it is saying that it's here at your house. And so it fully says the address. And so I'm like, okay. So I show him that, and he's like, no, there's no phone here, and I can't allow you to come inside. And I'm like, I don't want to come inside, but it's saying that it's here. And they're like, why would the phone be here? And I was like, we don't know why it would be here. We don't know. So he said, he said, you can go in the backyard through the gate and listen for it there. Maybe it fell over the fence. Impossible, but that's neither here nor there. I take the iPad and I press the play sound button again, and I go to the man's backyard, and I'm looking at the backyard. Phone is obviously not there. I can't hear it. It's nowhere to be found. Like, literally, we checked every room in the house. We checked in the couch. There's no vibrations we're hearing anywhere. Everybody is quiet as a church mouse so that we can hear properly. We couldn't hear it in the house. We couldn't hear it outside in our own backyard. We couldn't hear it in their backyard. So I go back over because I go back home, and I'm pressing play sound again. But as I'm watching the iPhone on the actual Find My phone app, it's jumping around like it's moving throughout their house. And I'm like, are these people serious? They really done stole the phone, and now they are lying to my face about it. Like, I'm getting genuinely upset, okay? So just to double check, cross reference, make sure that I didn't go to this man's house accusing them of things that were not true, I come in the house and I check the addresses for my phone, the addresses for my kids' iPads, and just to be sure that the GPS is very accurate, and the GPS is saying that those are at my physical address, because it's literally telling me that the phone is at his address, his house number, and my phone, which was in my house, was showing at my address. So I take the iPad back over there, and I'm like, look, like, it's saying that it's here. I don't know. And at this point, my mom is with me, and she's like, well, maybe one of the boys picked it up. And then he was physically, the neighbor was physically trying to get us to say that you guys stole it. But I didn't want to use that verbiage. Like, no, I didn't want to accuse them of that. That's like, I didn't want to do that. So we go back home because there's nothing we can do at this point but send a message to the phone. So I come home and my mom is telling me, like, well, what can we do? Do we need to call the police? And I'm like, I do not want to create a scene over this. I'd rather just get you a new phone. If they took it and they go do whatever they want to do with it. I mean, they couldn't use it here in Canada anyway. They'd have to send it back home. But I didn't want that smoke. I didn't want to have the police showing up here over stolen merchandise. So what I did was I used the Find My iPhone app and I sent a message to the phone trying to scare them to say, hey, the police are on their way. I have reported this phone stolen. You need to return it back tonight, today, ASAP, okay? You can do it in the middle of the night, don't matter. So I sent a message to the phone, and basically when you do that, it shows up on the home screen or on the lock screen that the Find My Phone app is in now lost mode or stolen mode, whatever you want to call it. And there's a message on the screen to whoever finds it to return it or call this number instead so that we can come and retrieve it. Obviously, nobody tried to return it or do anything of the sort. Nobody, you know. And so as we're looking at the Find My Phone app, the phone is still bouncing around on the freaking map. And I'm like, why is whoever has the phone moving it around so much? Girl. So at this point, I'm like, okay, well, we'll wait till like tomorrow or whatever to see if anybody brings it back in the nighttime or anything like that. But I decide that I'm going to go upstairs one more time and go into my mom's room one more time and press the play sound button one more time. So I go into my mom's room and I press play sound and I sit there and I wait, because every single time I press play sound, whoever has the phone is shutting it off. They're not allowing it to escalate to a high enough volume to hear it. So I press play sound and I sit and I wait, and all of a sudden I hear do 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 do, and it shuts off again. But now I'm hearing it and it's in my mom's closet. So I walk over to her closet door, I open the closet door, and I press the button again, and I hear vibrations now, and I'm like, oh my god. Mortified. I am mortified. I hear my mom's phone. My mom's phone is in her purse in the closet hanging up, because we don't know what day of the week it is, because we're so confused every single day. We forgot that she left the house that day, because she had said to me, did I go out today or was that yesterday? And that's when I had gone upstairs to check her room again. So the phone never left. But because of where my mom's room is in the house, her closet is right next to the in-between spaces in between the houses. So it made it seem like the phone was all the way in the neighbor's house, when really it was just hanging in her closet the whole time. And we were literally at the neighbor's house asking them, like, is the phone here? Can we have the phone back? Looking real stupid. And like literally every time we had to go outside after that, we're like, do not make eye contact. Super awkward, like mad awkward. You know, I was like contemplating like, oh, maybe one day I'll just be like, you know, the phone never showed back up. We had to buy a new one, you know, because I never accused him of stealing the phone or them of stealing the phone, but we were just going off of the stupid Find My Phone app. And I guess the GPS was confused because it was in the closet and it couldn't register that it was still here in our house. But ciao. Do we need to get a smaller dwelling? Because this cannot go on. So yeah, the phone was never stolen. one, it was actually in the closet the whole time, and because it was a holiday, like, oh, the day just started off a whole mess and ended a whole mess. But yeah, the phone was never gone. The phone was home the whole time. I don't know why we couldn't hear it the first time. I guess I didn't wait long enough, but it just kept getting shut off. And that's also goes to show how soundproof the closet is, because it was ringing in the closet every single time and we couldn't hear it anywhere. Nowhere in the house could we hear it, okay? We were flipping couches over, girl. We were doing the most and could not locate the stupid cell phone. So I think the Find My Phone app needs to do a little bit of an upgrade in terms of the GPS. Okay, because that was super duper embarrassing, showing up at the neighbor's house and asking them for the cell phone that was in the closet the whole damn time. Like, really? Really? The devil is a liar. And especially because we already kind of had an issue with them with the whole, them using our lawn as a freaking potty. Like, it was just one thing after the other, and we're like, they didn't stole the phone too. Like, what kind of neighbors are these? Like, this is very ghetto. I don't like it. But literally, yeah, that's the story on the time we thought the neighbors stole the phone and it was in the house the whole entire time. Tell me a story where you were loud and wrong, okay? I love you all so much, and I'll definitely see you in the next one.